Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love Where You Live, Tampa Bay, another segment with my friend Mark. We want to talk to you today about real estate. So let's get into it. All right. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you this morning, Debbie?
I'm doing really well. I wanted to get your opinion on today. They're supposed to announce potentially another rate hike. I'll say it right there. And kind of what you think the implications are for mortgages, and how that might affect some folks who are looking to possibly wait until January, obviously, to probably nail a house down, closing, etc. Kind of give them some advice on the best way to approach what might be happening.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the Fed is having their meeting today. I believe they may actually have concluded it by this point in time. I could be wrong on that. All indicators are talking that they're probably going to raise the overnight banking rate once again by about 50 basis points, which is 25 basis points than the last couple of raises that they have done on it. So that's maybe a sign of inflation starting to cool off a little bit. Maybe thinking that there's a way that they can get back to a little bit of normalcy. So we will wait and see what they do. Usually what happens, it's not all about the increase in rates, but it's what they have to say afterwards that usually affect any type of mortgage rates or anything like that. Debbie, I know you and I have talked before that when they raise that overnight banking rate, when they raise the Fed rate, it does not mean that they're raising mortgage interest rates because they don't really control mortgage interest rates. But to be completely frank, it usually has a direct correlation with mortgage interest rates in the long run. But I have seen times where they've raised the Fed rate and mortgage rates have gone down in the past. So it doesn't always go hand in hand. But one of the things that I am being advised today by some people that I follow in different places is that ahead of any rate hike, that if you've got anything in your pipeline that is not locked at this point in time, that they're suggesting that you lock rates at this point in time just as a precautionary type of thing. So
that's great advice. Lock your rates, get with your mortgage person and lock your rate. You don't want any surprises. Not that there would be, but you don't know. We don't have crystal balls. So definitely lock your rate with your mortgage person. So, we had tossed around talking about the adjustable rate mortgage. It's got a bad name, kind of, So if you would go into that a little bit.
absolutely. So it's got a bad name because of what happened prior to 2008. You had a lot of people who were being presented as, this is a great way for you to go because it's a little bit lower interest rate. But by the same token, they were maybe 3-year adjustables with a 5-year prepayment penalty on them. So as your rate started to adjust upwards back in that day, you were not only faced with the stark reality that you needed to refinance, but that you were also going to pay a prepayment penalty because of the way that these were done before. The good thing that came out of everything that happened out of that, it was a complete revamping of the mortgage industry. And I'm not going to say that they took all the bad apples out of the industry, but they really cleaned it up a lot. So all your adjustable rate mortgages now at this point in time do not have a prepayment penalty because they're governed by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And so they're designed for the true intent of an adjustable rate mortgage. So one thing I will say to it is that really in utilizing an adjustable rate mortgage, it's really going to boil down to what your short-term and what your long-term goals are. If you are buying into a home and you feel that you're going to grow roots at that place, then maybe you look at another way where you might be able to hedge your bet to save some money on the mortgage other than an adjustable rate mortgage.
Right.
But if you feel that, you're buying a home, I'm going to be here maybe 3, 5, 7 years, that might be the spot where you would use an adjustable rate mortgage, because yes, you do get the benefit of a lower interest rate. And if you're short, let's say you work in a job where it's common where you transfer to another area of the country, you can utilize that lower interest rate and still be able to, like I said, sell, refinance, do whatever you want to at that point in time and get that benefit. It has been shown statistically that most people that are homeowners have a tendency to refinance about every 7 years.
That's a good
So
statistic.
if you're buying a home, and even if you're growing roots in the place that you buy, an adjustable rate still might be ideal for you, just for the lower rate and payment, understanding that there's a possibility that you may refinance once you grow some equity in the home for you to do some different things. Maybe it's, tuition for kids' college. Maybe it's, upgrades to the home, some home improvements, whatever have you. Quite possibly you'll be refinancing down the road, but I truly believe that adjustable rate mortgages are a great tool if you take a look at the broader picture and see, what are your plans? Are you going to be selling the home? Are you going to be staying in the home forever? What's your game plan for that? Are just a multitude of questions and reasons to take a look. And that's one thing I would always tell you is, whoever your mortgage advisor is, make sure that they give you those options. Make sure they discuss these things with you. I know a lot of people in the mortgage industry have a tendency to say, okay, 30-year fixed rate mortgage, blam, here you go, and not really go over options with the people that they're working with. So you as a buyer, make sure that you are discussing those options with your mortgage loan officer. This is what our plans are. We're buying this home as a starter home, but we're maybe going to grow our family and we're possibly going to move up in a couple of years.
Right.
Would this make sense for us to do this? A multitude of reasons for you to utilize the program. And that's what I would say, is that there's definitely direct benefit to it, but you've got to get both the short term and the big picture as far as that goes when you're discussing those options. But make sure those options are presented to you.
Well, I have seen a lot in the MLS, and my personal strategy is you've got to really capture the attention of buyers in your write-up for a property. And the one thing that's really capturing their attention right now are closing cost assistance, trying to work the rate down, having the seller buy it down. And we are in a unique period in which the last 6 months, the prices are higher than they probably will be in the next 6 months. So the sellers do have some room to work with buyers on making their home very attractive on the market by offering those things. And I mean, it be the first line in your write-up on the MLS that carries to Zillow or Realtor or the other websites is, this seller can help you be creative in your financing opportunities here, right? So that we can bring that rate down. So it is attractive. And when you combine it with taking out an arm for 3 to 5 years, things are going to change. I mean, obviously, if we look over the past 10 years, we see how they have changed, and you will have an opportunity to refinance, most likely at a much lower rate. This is a period of correction in our economy, or so that's what we're being told. I mean, I have to take that at face value at this point, that this isn't just for their enjoyment, although sometimes I do wonder.
Right.
but it is to correct potential really a bad situation. They're using the interest rates to try to tamp down some of the inflation that we're experiencing and avoid a recession. So that being said, using that 3 to 5 year mark as an opportunity to refinance is probably a good gamble at this point, and it will allow you to buy more home. That's what happens when those rates go up. You're buying less home. And what I'm seeing is that these houses are on the market for 60 days, some of them, that especially if they need an update in the kitchen or the bathroom. And most of the house is pretty good. People want that really done look, but if they are going to have to settle for a kitchen that's outdated or a bathroom that's outdated, they need those prices to come down a little bit. And we see that happening in our market report. So I'm going to actually pull that up really quick here.
Drum roll, please.
Yes, right. All right. Can you see it?
No, I'm seeing your email.
You're not seeing this? Try that. How about that?
Still the same thing.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
you got it?
Yeah, it's just a little bit slower.
I think
Just
there's
like
a
me.
lag. When I show graphics, there's a little bit of a lag. So sorry about that. So this is November, and again, my chief complaint, the MLSs around the country are extremely slow in data reporting. It shouldn't be this slow, seriously. I find it very our industry is so behind. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Months of inventory. Okay, we're at 4 months. October was 3, and prior to that, it was 2. And you can see even this time last year, we were at 1. So we see inventories going up. And guess what we see right here? Prices are cooling. We have seen an adjustment in prices from 428 as the average sales price, from 440 to 428. That's substantial. We are rocking on, like, I think it's a 36% price increase over since 2019, from 2019 to today. So those are some substantial numbers that we've just rocketed through during the COVID. The lower interest rates, everybody's shifting around. There was a buying frenzy, and we certainly experienced it here in Florida. But we're definitely seeing these prices are cooling off. This inventory is rising a little bit. And we see that those days on the market are going up from 29 to 34. I've seen some in the 50s. And so we can see the listing solds are down, obviously, because they're hanging on the market a little bit longer. And we are seeing that inventory is not moving as quick. We're not having the same bidding wars that we were having before. And then our pending sales, you can see, have actually gone up a little bit. Our new listings have gone down, but not much. That's pretty standard in this time of year. I'm not shocked, but more than likely sellers are trying to figure out if buyers really have an opportunity and if they can still get the price they want, which I think in January, this entire situation, we're going to see when we look at those December numbers, we're actually going to see that 2023 could be an explosive year in volume. If we could just tick those interest rates down just a little bit, I think we could really have a fabulous year. I think we're going to have a fabulous year anyway, just because the past couple of years have been very strange. But I think we're actually heading into some normalcy, a little bit more balance. And so I am definitely looking forward to what 2023 has to offer.
Absolutely. So like 2008, there's a difference between what's going on right now and what happened in 2008. What's going on right now is a true correction to the market.
Yeah.
What we saw in 2008 was really essentially a real estate crash.
Right.
And so it's two different types of scenarios. And I think that there's great opportunity now. In looking at the numbers that you just showed, it looks like there's an opportunity to have a healthy real estate market again. And I had somebody pose this question to me the other day. So you as a buyer right now in the market with 4 months of inventory, with maybe the possibility of getting seller concessions as part of your package, so you're taking less cash out of your pocket to make a transaction, are you in a better position with interest rates in the 6, but not as much competition, not people lining up to pay $50,000 over list price like we had going on 6 months ago? Are you in a better position to buy a home today than you were maybe 6 months ago when you couldn't get in on part of the bidding action because people were just absolutely crazy out there. Hey, I know your list price is 300,000. I'll give you 350,000, and regardless of what the appraisal comes in at, I'll pay the difference. That took a lot of buyers out of the market.
Yeah.
So this is really a great opportunity to do so. And then just going back to arms, just again, not only just the 3 and the 5-year arms, but there's 7-year arms, there's even 10-year arms.
There you go.
So if you wanted to go into that process, you never know what's going to go on with interest rates. But if you were to buy into a house and do like a 10-year arm, you could really pretty much safeguard yourself that eventually I'm going to be able to refinance this under better terms than what I bought it at, even though I got a lower interest rate by going with an adjustable than with a fixed,
Right.
because you've just bought yourself 10 years for the market to recorrect itself and do whatever have you. And who knows, like I said, I don't know that we'll ever see interest rates like we saw maybe a year ago when we had 30-year fixed that were in the 2 percentile.
That was historic. And I know a lot of people, a lot of the younger folks too, not that I'm old, but a lot of the younger generation, they look at it and that's what they have been experiencing for the last 15 years are these lower rates. Well, back in 2004, my husband and I, we got married and we bought a house and it was $135,000 and it was at 6.5%.
Right.
And that was like, okay, we didn't know if it was good or bad. It was just the rate, right?
Right.
And then over the course of time, the market crashed. We went through the 08 to 012 kind of adjustment period. And then we got back on track and we seemed to be leveling out. And then COVID came and, there were some historic lows in those rates. And, never before seen really interest rates, right? I mean, back in the 80s, they were in the teens. I remember my best friend's sister had just bought a Toyota and she paid 18.5% for this car, and she financed, she was very proud. I got a great rate, I'm like, oh my gosh, that doesn't sound like a great rate today at all. It sounds like highway robbery, which is why I think obviously the Feds continues to tamper with the rates to try to stave off those 1980s double digits, right? So
Right. Well, the biggest thing is, and one of the things that they're doing, so it's not just the Fed with the rate trying to curb inflation, but there is a big push within the agencies, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, that they are trying to tailor fit what they're doing. And really, they're wanting to make loans to people that are buying them to live in them. And one of the things I mean about that, and it's probably something that we'll talk about in a future talk here, but they have done what's called a loan level pricing adjustment to every loan that's being done on a second home, every loan that's being done on an investment property. And what they're doing is they're essentially taxing or penalizing people buying second homes and buying investment properties, thinking that, if you're an investor, we'd rather see you use your cash to obtain that property than to use financing means, and we're going to try to take you away from the table. So, and it is also part of that, like I said, curbing inflation. I still don't get the idea behind it, but apparently lessening demand curbs inflation. So if we can make people stop buying stuff, we're going to put ourselves in a better position. I don't truly get the thought behind that, but apparently that's the way that it's been in supply and demand and simple economics for years. And I was a business school major, but if I told you that I understood that concept completely, I'd be lying to you. So
yeah, no, it's counterintuitive what they're trying to do. That's why we're, the gist of it, but yet it's part of how it works. And so they're trying to tamp down the demand so that they can settle that rate. So, but we're not in charge.
Yeah, but it's a great opportunity right now in real estate on both sides of the equation. I know that sellers are worried that they're seeing, price reductions all over the place right now. I think there's a better way to work with that rather than having to take a price reduction. And I think we spoke about this in a previous video, is that rather than take a price reduction, what if through a seller credit back to the buyer, you A, bought out their mortgage insurance, and B, contributed to discount points to buy the interest rate down. Everybody's in a win-win situation. And rather than taking a $25,000 reduction in price, maybe it costs you $12,000 to $15,000, sure beats $25,000, and it puts your buyer in a better position, and it creates goodwill throughout the whole process. So,
Well, and right now it's going to appraise, in another 6 months, the prices will have shifted, that the appraisers that are going back to try to find comparables, the prices won't be there like they are right now. We're in a great position today,
right.
to be
Like I
able
said,
to be creative. And that's what I keep trying to hit home. But in 6 months, we won't be in the same position. I don't think. I could be wrong. We could be making another video about it. I have no idea.
well, we have no way for us to look into our crystal ball and see this, but from the statistics that you just showed me, it looks like right now is a sweet spot in the real estate market for people on both sides of the equation. So
Yeah, and I put in my newsletter. If you haven't signed up, let me know. Put a comment below, like, share the videos. We sure appreciate that. But I definitely let people know that we need to, oh shoot, my thought just left me. See, I am getting old. It just, anyway, like and share our videos. They really help our algorithm, what little we have. I know we're just starting off again and all that, but if you would sign up for the newsletter, and we can let you know what's happening, we can let you know what the rates are going to do, we can kind of give you an idea of what the professionals are saying, about inventory. But right now, I think 23 is set to be lit. And if you're on the fence of buying, I strongly encourage you to consider getting off the fence. And if you're a seller, sell now, because the prices are adjusting. So
absolutely,
it's a good time either way.
Absolutely. So then I know that we had talked about this before, and maybe this is something we'll talk about next week, but let's talk about maybe assumable mortgages next week. That gives us something to talk about them, because I think there's a great opportunity there as well. That's a great selling tool for your sellers, and a great opportunity for buyers as well. But that's for another conversation. I just wanted to sort of throw that out there today. So
Love to talk about that. I know a lot of people have been asking me, what do you think about it? And I'm like, well, it's kind of complicated, but it's really simple. It involves cash and finding the right seller. It can be done. It's just got to put the puzzle together, but you definitely want an experienced agent handling something like that, and an experienced mortgage person handling something like that. So that definitely is going to be something to take a look at, a hard look at in the next quarter for sure.
yeah, absolutely. So
All right. Well, you have a fantastic holiday. If we are able to talk next week, which will be the first day of winter here in Florida, it might be like 75 or 60. I don't know. If we got a cold front coming, it'd probably be in the mid 70s is what my guess would be. That's our cold front. Thank goodness.
I'll come over to the beach with you and build a sandman.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's build Santa on the beach. We'll do some sand angels. And then we have Christmas, we have Hanukkah starting on Monday. So we're riding right into the holidays here. So we want to wish everyone a happy holiday. We love visitors to Florida. And we would love to help you if you're thinking about coming to Florida and buying something. So hit us up. We have our information down below the video, how to contact us. And we hope that you have a great week.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Debbie.
All right. Talk to you soon, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I think I stopped recording. Let's see.